What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. I am biggity back with a video. So in today's video, I am going to talk about how me and my spouse, how we first met. And just a brief, this video is only going to be about how we first met, and then I'll do follow-up videos about the 90-day fiance process. So to be totally honest with you, I don't know how we first met, to be totally honest with you. I just know that I started receiving messages on Facebook back then, and this was in 2015. This was actually in 2014 is when we initially started, when he started communicating with me. And so his story on how we met on how he found me, per se, is this the Dominican artist. So I'm a person who listens to a lot of international music. I love reggaeton, bachata. I love all of that type of music. And so per what he said, he found me from a comment that I made on an artist. The artist's name was Omega, I believe that's the one. I'm not sure. So he found me on Facebook, which is odd, but hey, here we are now. And so in the beginning, he started sending me messages. From the first message, I looked on his page and I saw that he was in the Dominican Republic. And I'm like, what is this, a scam? And so I've never been a person that even ever considered talking to anyone out of the United States. I've always only dated exclusively men in the United States. it never even crossed my mind. So to see someone messaging me, how before, women, I don't know, but before you get them little messages that are scams. But so I considered that the same. So I ignored the message. I opened it, I looked at it, and I ignored them. And also I was in a relationship around that time as well. So that also played a part in it as well. So how we started communicating, like for me, how I started responding back is, the relationship that I was in, it went sour. The guy was where he cheated, he had a baby. So that was completely done. And so this guy was so persistent with his messages every day, all that he's sending messages. And I finally opened it up. I finally responded. I was like, hey, how are you? Of course I translated it because he didn't speak any English at all, and I didn't speak any Spanish. So I was translating his messages. You know how they do, mi amor, blah, 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 blah. So we started communicating. And back then, I'm not sure if back then, but a big thing was people catfishing. So I was like, let's video chat so I can make sure that you are really who you say you are. So we started video chatting. And a funny thing with that is, every time we would video chat, it was a friend he had, and every time we would get on that video, the friend would be in the back like this, who's like trying to see in the camera and just be mad nosy. Like, who is this guy? So we began communicating, and we were communicating a lot. Like, he drew me in with the mi amors. And from there, I set up a trip. So we was talking for about 6 months, and then I decided that I wanted to go visit him. So I set up a trip for the upcoming summer. So by then we were talking probably like a year and like 3 months before I went over there. So when I first went over there, I flew to Santiago. And, when I first went there, I didn't see him. And so, I had hired a driver to pick me up. So it was the sign. But I was like, I'm waiting for somebody. And I didn't even know how to communicate that to the driver. And mind y'all, this was my first time ever flying. My first time ever going out the country. So it was a lot of first things with me that happened with meeting him. First time out the country. First time flying. First passport, first everything. And so I was looking for him. I was trying to call him, but the connection wasn't working when I was trying to call him at the airport. And I saw this guy walking across with this red hat. And I was like, I thought about some pictures I seen of him with that red hat. I said, is that him? And he had went upstairs and then disappeared. And then he came back walking across. I called his name, and then he said, Mia Moore. And I was like, baby. And he ran downstairs. We embraced each other and hugged and kissed and the driver drove us to our resort that I had booked. And we literally like kissed the whole time. It was like a fairy tale. It was weird, like something I've never experienced. It was really a fairy tale. And so, you know how us women do. You fall in love. Men the same way. We fell in love then. And so based on that, I was there for 14 days. I was there for that first trip. And it was awesome. It was a beautiful trip. It was very awesome. It was really just hard to communicate. But because I literally had to use the Google Translator for everything, but we made it. We were able to, communicate enough to make it. And based on that, me and him talked, and I decided that I was going to do the 90-day K1 visa. And I started the process on that. And I made sure when I was there, I didn't know anything about it. But he's a person that loves photos, so we took a lot of photos together, a lot of photos. One thing I would say that probably helped our case out a lot is that we communicated a lot. We had a lot of messages, a lot of communication, not only in person, but messages together. We had messages on Facebook, we had messages on WhatsApp, and we took so many pictures together on that vacation. And so from there, once I got back, I started doing heavy research on the visa, the process, and what I had to do. I watched so many YouTube videos. I read different blogs and tried to find so much information out about it to see if I could do it myself. Because back then, I didn't have a lot of money back then. So I wanted to do it by myself without having to hire a lawyer and make a long and drawn out process. But yeah, that is the story on how we met in our first encounter. I'm going to be doing follow-up videos with this. Thank you so much for watching my videos, subscribing to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys.